The morning sun had barely risen when I tiptoed across our bedroom floor, careful not to wake Daniel. Today was our son Ethan's first day of school, a day I had dreamed about since the moment I first held him, tiny and wrinkled, against my chest. I had his uniform ironed, his lunch packed with his favorite snacks, and my phone charged to capture every moment. I wanted everything perfect. But the bed behind me was unusually empty. Daniel wasn't there. For a second, I thought maybe he woke up early to get ready. But the bathroom was silent, the hallway empty, and the house had a stillness that didn't make sense. Daniel always made pancakes on big mornings like this. Traditions matter, he would say, but the kitchen looked untouched. A small knot twisted inside me. Maybe he stepped out to grab coffee. Maybe he had an early work call. Maybe I was overthinking. I pushed the feeling away because I wanted to enjoy this morning with Ethan. I walked into his room, where he was already sitting up, his hair messy and eyes excited. "Mommy, is today the day?" he asked, clutching his little backpack like it was treasure. "Yes, baby," I smiled. "Today is the day." Getting him dressed helped my nerves settle, but the silence of the house kept brushing against me like cold air. By the time we were ready to leave, Daniel still hadn't returned. I checked my phone again, no missed calls, no messages. I thought about calling him, but something stopped me. Maybe I didn't want to feel ignored. Maybe I didn't want to hear a rushed excuse. Maybe I already sensed something was wrong. Outside, the street was bright and busy with morning traffic. Parents walked with their children, chatting and laughing. I held Ethan's hand tightly, smiling at him every time he looked up. He didn't need to see the way my heart felt heavy. Our school was only 10 minutes away, and I planned to meet Daniel there. He wouldn't miss Ethan's first day. He couldn't. When we arrived, the school was buzzing with life, teachers greeting families, balloons tied to the entrance, colorful posters welcoming new students. Ethan's eyes widened with pure joy. "Look, Mommy. They have dinosaurs." He pointed at a bulletin board decorated with cartoon T-Rexes wearing backpacks. I laughed, running my fingers through his hair. "You're going to have so much fun." We took pictures, videos, selfies. I tried to make every moment glow despite the weight in my stomach that wouldn't go away. But as I looked around the campus, scanning the parking area, the benches, the clusters of parents, my heart slowly dropped. Daniel wasn't there. I told myself he might be late. Maybe stuck in traffic. Maybe he was parking the car. But then I saw something that froze me in place. Across the street, behind a line of parked cars, a familiar figure stepped out. Daniel. His hair slightly messy. His shirt untucked. He looked like someone who wasn't ready for a school event at all. And then I saw her, a woman stepping out right after him. She adjusted her dress, flipped her hair, and smiled at him like they shared a secret. Daniel leaned close to her, too close. He touched her arm, and she giggled, brushing her fingers across his chest. My lungs stopped working. My heartbeat thundered in my ears. I wasn't seeing this. I couldn't be seeing this. Not today. Not on our son's first day of school. I felt Ethan tug my hand gently. "Mommy? Are we going inside?" I forced a smile, stiff, brittle. "Yes, baby. We are." I walked him through the gate like a robot, listening to the teacher's instructions but hearing nothing. I nodded when I was supposed to nod, smiled when I was supposed to smile. The last thing Ethan saw before going into class was me waving proudly. The moment he disappeared behind the colorful classroom door, my smile collapsed. I walked out of the school grounds, my feet moving on their own. Across the street, Daniel and the woman were still talking, unaware that I was watching. The woman touched his cheek, and at that moment, Daniel leaned down and kissed her. My breath shattered. My knees almost gave out. The noise of the street disappeared, replaced by a high-pitched ringing. This wasn't a split-second misunderstanding. This wasn't playful flirting. This wasn't accidental. This was betrayal. Raw. Sharp. Brutal. And I had caught it with my own eyes, on a day that should have been one of our happiest. When Daniel finally noticed me standing across the street, his smile fell. The woman turned, confused, and then froze when she saw me. For a full moment, none of us moved. I felt my hands shaking. Not from anger. Not yet. From heartbreak. From disbelief. From the realization that the man I built a family with, the man I trusted with my dreams, my body, my future, had chosen someone else on a morning that mattered most. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. Not yet. I just turned around and started walking home, every step heavier than the last. Behind me, I heard Daniel calling my name, once, twice, louder, but I didn't stop. He didn't deserve my attention. Not anymore. But deep inside, I knew this was only the beginning. Because betrayal on a normal day hurts. But betrayal on your child's first day of school? That tears something open that can never fully close again. The walk home felt longer than it ever had before. Each step felt like dragging a weight behind me, a weight made of disbelief, humiliation, and the kind of heartbreak that steals the air from your lungs. I didn't cry. Not because it didn't hurt, it hurt so deeply I felt numb. Like my body was protecting me by shutting everything off. The keys trembled in my hand as I unlocked the door. The moment I stepped into the house, a strange quiet wrapped around me. This was the place where we laughed, cooked, argued, forgave, lived. Now it felt unfamiliar. Like I was entering someone else's life by accident. I sat on the couch and stared at nothing. Minutes, maybe hours, passed. Time didn't make sense. All I could see replaying in my mind was Daniel leaning in to kiss her. The way his hand rested on her arm. The ease. The comfort. The familiarity. This wasn't a new mistake. This was a routine. A habit. A choice. The sound of the front door opening snapped me back. Daniel stumbled in, breathing heavy as if he'd been running. His hair was still messed up, his shirt wrinkled, his face flushed, not from guilt, but from trying to catch up to me. "Listen to me," he said immediately, closing the door behind him. "Please. I can explain." Explain? Explain what? The way he kissed her? The way she smiled at him? The way he didn't even check if his wife and child were alone on such an important morning? What exactly do you want to explain, Daniel? My voice came out strangely calm. Too calm. He ran a hand through his hair, shaking his head. "It's not what you think. I swear. It was stupid. A mistake. I was going to tell you." My laugh cut through his words, sharp and bitter. "You were going to tell me you kissed another woman on our son's first day of school? Really? That was your plan for the morning?" He swallowed, unable to meet my eyes. "Who is she?" I asked. "Tell me her name." He hesitated too long. "Daniel." He finally whispered, "Her name is Melissa." Melissa. A simple name. A harmless name. Yet suddenly it felt like poison. "How long?" A few months." The room tilted slightly, and I almost lost my balance. Months. Not days. Not a one-time mistake. Months. "And in these months," I said slowly, "you never thought about your wife? Your child? Your family?" "I did," he said quickly. "Every day. I hated myself for it. I didn't know how to stop. I didn't know how to tell you. You didn't know how to stop cheating on me." I shot back. "That's your excuse?" He flinched like the words were physical blows. But I didn't feel guilty. Not even a little. "You should have ended it," I said coldly. "I tried," he whispered, but the weakness in his voice made me sick. Silence stretched between us until it became unbearable. Finally, he said softly, "Please. Let me fix this. I'll end it. I'll do anything. I love you." My breath caught, but not in the way it used to when he said those words. Now it only made something inside me curl in disgust. "You love me?" I repeated. "You love me, but you spent months loving someone else too." His eyes filled with tears, but I looked away. I didn't trust those tears. I didn't trust anything about him anymore. "I never stopped loving you," he insisted. "No," I whispered. "You just stopped choosing me." That's when I felt the sting in my eyes. The numbness began to crack, and the pain seeped through, flooding me too quickly to fight back. I turned away from him, pressing my hand to my mouth as the first sob finally escaped. Daniel reached for me, but I stepped back. "Don't," I warned. "Please." "No." My voice broke. "Don't touch me." He froze. His hands dropped to his sides. His shoulders slumped. For the first time, he looked truly scared. I wiped my cheeks and faced him. "Why today? Why on Ethan's first day? You couldn't wait? You couldn't at least pretend to be a father for one morning?" His lips trembled. "It wasn't planned. I didn't mean for you to see." "So you're upset because you got caught?" "No. I'm upset because I hurt you." I shook my head. "If you cared about hurting me, you wouldn't have done it in the first place." He had no answer. The silence between us grew thick again. I grabbed my bag and started walking toward the stairs. "Where are you going?" he asked. "Upstairs," I said flatly. "I need space." "Please don't shut me out," he whispered. "You already shut me out," I said without turning back. 4 months. Upstairs, I closed the bedroom door and collapsed onto the bed. This was where we made plans. This was where we whispered dreams. Now it felt like a crime scene. My phone buzzed. A message from the school. "Ethan had a great first morning. We'll send pictures soon." I burst into tears all over again. My son was having a beautiful milestone day, and I was living my worst. I must have cried myself into exhaustion, because when I opened my eyes again, the room was dim. I heard footsteps in the hall and the faint clatter of something in the kitchen. Daniel hadn't left. A part of me wished he had. As soon as the thought hit me, guilt followed, not for Daniel, but for Ethan. My baby didn't deserve a broken home. He didn't deserve this mess. My mind spun: divorce, separation, co-parenting, custody, all words that once felt distant, now suddenly pressing against me like cold fingers. But another voice whispered inside me. "You deserve better. You deserve honesty. You deserve love that doesn't betray you." For hours I lay there, torn between heartbreak and rage, wondering how our life had turned into this. Finally, I made a decision. Not a big one. Not the final one. But a necessary one. I needed the truth, all of it. Every ugly detail. Every hidden message. Every lie. I needed to hear everything before I decided what came next. When I finally came downstairs, Daniel looked up from the dining table, eyes red, face pale. "We need to talk," I said. He nodded slowly. "I know." But he had no idea what I was about to ask. No idea what I had already decided. Because I wasn't just going to listen. I was going to confront him with something he never expected. Something that would turn this entire story upside down. Daniel sat at the dining table like a man waiting for his own sentencing. His fingers kept tapping against the edge of a mug he wasn't even drinking from. The room smelled of burnt toast and stress. He had clearly tried to make food, then forgotten everything mid-crisis. I took the seat across from him, placing an invisible wall of distance between us. My heart thudded painfully, but my voice stayed steady. "We're going to have this conversation," I said. And you're going to tell me everything. Without excuses. Without lies. He swallowed. Okay. I folded my hands on the table. Start with the truth. How did it begin? He closed his eyes, breathing in slowly. I met her at a real estate seminar. She was a presenter. I liked the way she talked about things. She was confident. Ambitious. She understood my work. I winced, the words cutting deeper than I expected. So you cheated because she understood your work? His face crumpled. No, that's not what I mean. But that's what you said. My voice rose without my permission. You're telling me you needed someone else to make you feel appreciated? 4 months? Daniel, I praised you. I supported you. I helped you when you were drowning in work. Was that not enough? It was, he whispered. You were wonderful. You're always wonderful. This wasn't your failure. I stared at him, breathing hard. Then why? Why risk our family? Why risk Ethan? He ran both hands down his face. I don't know. I felt trapped. The words hit me like a slap. Trapped? I repeated. By me? By our son? He immediately shook his head. No. Not like that. I mean, I felt trapped inside myself. Like I wasn't enough. Like I was failing at everything. Work, fatherhood, being a husband, and when she showed interest in me, it made me feel seen. I was weak. I made a horrible mistake. So you destroyed our trust to feel seen, I whispered. He didn't respond. There it was, the truth. Ugly. Selfish. Predictable. And yet it stabbed deeper than any lie could have. I leaned back, letting the silence stretch. I could hear the ticking of the wall clock. I could hear my own heartbeat in my ears. For the first time in years, Daniel and I had nothing left to say to each other. But I wasn't finished. Does she know you're married? I asked. He nodded. Yes. I felt bile rise in my throat. And she didn't care? She thought we were unhappy. I stared at him. Did you tell her we were unhappy? His silence was enough of an answer. You can rebuild trust after many things, arguments, miscommunications, financial struggles. But rebuilding trust after your partner tells another woman your marriage is unhappy? That's a different kind of betrayal. One that rewrites your history. One that makes you question every happy moment. Was he lying then too? I pressed my fingertips to the table, grounding myself. You need to tell me something, and I need you to be honest. Are you in love with her? He looked up sharply, eyes wide. No. Absolutely not. Are you sure? Yes, he said, too quickly. I swear. I got caught up in something stupid. Something meaningless. Meaningless? I raised an eyebrow. A months-long affair? That's meaningless to you? He flinched again, but I didn't soften. You've been cheating for months. You kissed her today. Today, Daniel. The morning of Ethan's first day of school. A day that meant something to us. And you want me to believe this was meaningless? His forehead dropped into his hands. I hate myself. I hate everything I've done. I'll do anything to fix this. I took a deep breath. Then start with this, why today? Why did you even meet her this morning? He lifted his head, shame coloring his face. She wanted to talk. She said she was tired of being in the shadows. She said she needed to know what I wanted. I just went to calm her down. To tell her it was over. My jaw tightened. You ended things today? On the same day I caught you? Yes, he whispered. I ended it. Convenient. Too convenient. I rubbed my forehead, fighting the pounding headache forming. Show me. He blinked. What? Show me the messages, I said. Your phone. Give me your phone. His face drained of color. In that moment, I knew it, he hadn't ended anything. Daniel, I said slowly, if you don't hand me your phone right now, I'll know everything you're saying is a lie. It's complicated. No, I cut him off sharply. It's actually very simple. The truth is in your phone. So give it to me. He sat frozen, breathing rapidly. His eyes darted toward the hallway, where his phone was charging. Don't even think about running to delete things, I warned. If you leave this room without handing me your phone, we're done. No discussion. No second chances. He stared at me. And then the worst thing happened. He didn't move. Not a muscle. Not an inch. His silence was louder than a confession. You're still lying, I whispered, my voice cracking. Even now. Even after I saw you with her. Even after you said you want to fix things. It's not what you think. You are still lying. He closed his eyes, defeated. A wave of cold realization washed over me. I wasn't talking to the man I married. I was talking to someone who didn't respect me. Someone who didn't value me. Someone who thought I would accept half-truths and apologies simply because I loved him. I stood up. So this is what our marriage has become, I said softly. Me begging for the truth, and you still choosing her over honesty. His eyes flew open. I'm not choosing her. Then why can't you show me your phone? His mouth opened, then closed again. No answer. That was my answer. I walked to the doorway, feeling strangely calm now. This wasn't numbness. This was clarity. We're done talking, I said. For now. He stood abruptly, panic flickering across his face. Wait. Please, please don't make any decisions yet. Please. I already made one, I said, staring at him. I'm picking Ethan up from school. And you're not coming with me. His shoulders collapsed. And Daniel? I added, stepping out of the room. He looked up, hope desperate in his eyes. When I come back, you better be ready to tell me everything. Because if you don't, then what happens next will be something neither of us can undo. I walked out, leaving him alone in the silence he created. But he wasn't the only one hiding a truth. Because what he didn't know, what he couldn't even imagine, was that I had already found something earlier, something that would make part for the moment everything explodes. Something that proves the betrayal was even deeper than he ever admitted. And I wasn't going to keep it hidden much longer. I drove to Ethan's school with my hands gripping the steering wheel so tightly my knuckles turned white. The afternoon sun was warm, the sky bright, the kind of day that should have felt peaceful. Instead, every passing moment felt like a countdown. A countdown to the truth I already knew. A truth I hadn't yet said out loud. When I parked outside the school, I took a deep breath. I couldn't let Ethan see any of this. He didn't deserve to feel the storm raging inside me. He deserved a mother who smiled, even if her heart was breaking. I wiped under my eyes, fixed my expression, and walked toward the gate. The moment Ethan spotted me, he ran, his tiny backpack bouncing behind him. "Mommy," he squealed, throwing his arms around my waist. I knelt and hugged him tightly, maybe too tightly, breathing in his innocence, his warmth, the one pure thing in my life that hadn't been tainted. "How was your first day?" I asked, brushing his hair back. "The best," he grinned. "I have a friend named Noah. And my teacher gave me a star. And we painted dinosaurs." His joy felt like light in a room mostly dark. "That sounds wonderful," I said softly. We walked back to the car, hand in hand. I let him chatter about everything, grateful for the distraction. But the moment we reached home, the weight returned. Heavy. Suffocating. Ethan ran inside to show Daniel his star sticker. I followed slowly, preparing myself. Daniel stood up from the couch when he saw us. He looked exhausted, eyes swollen, face pale. But I didn't care. I didn't feel sympathy. I only felt determination. Ethan ran to him. "Daddy. Look." Daniel smiled, his voice trembling. "That's amazing, buddy. I'm proud of you." For a moment, we looked like a normal family. But looks lie. "Ethan," I said gently, "go upstairs and wash your hands. I'll make you a snack soon." He nodded eagerly and ran up the stairs. The moment he was out of sight, the air between Daniel and me turned cold. "Did you think about what I said?" I asked. Daniel slowly sank back onto the couch. "Yes. And I'm ready to tell you everything. No more hiding." I nodded. "Good. Then tell me this, how many times did you meet her at a hotel?" His head jerked up, shocked. "What? You heard me." He swallowed hard. "Twice." "Lie again," I said softly. "And I will walk out of this house with our child and never look back." His shoulders slumped. "5, he whispered. 5 times. 5. Not 2. Not 3. 5. I nodded slowly, letting the truth settle like stones in my stomach. "And the nights you came home late?" I pressed. "The business trips that suddenly appeared? All of that was her?" He hesitated. "Yes," he finally answered. "Most of them." My lips trembled, but I held myself together. "You were cheating while I was home breastfeeding our son. While I was waiting for updates from you. While I was praying for your safety on your work trips." He flinched, but I didn't stop. "You ruined us, Daniel. You ruined what we had." "I know," he whispered. "I destroyed everything. I don't expect forgiveness. I want to fix what I can." "There's something you should know," I said, my voice suddenly calm. He looked up, wary, anxious. And this was it. The part he never expected. "I already knew about the affair," I said quietly. His eyes widened, confusion flooding his face. "What?" "No, you saw us today." "I knew before today," I cut him off. "A week ago." He stared at me, stunned. "I found something," I said. "Something you left behind." What did you find?" His voice shook. I took a deep breath. "Your second phone." His mouth fell open in horror. "I found it in your car," I continued. "Inside the pocket behind the driver's seat. It rang while I was putting Ethan's toys away." "Melissa," flashed on the screen. He covered his face with both hands, letting out a broken sound. "I read everything," I said. "Every message. Every photo. Every plan you made with her. Every complaint you made about me. Every fake reason you gave for leaving home." Tears slid down Daniel's cheeks silently. "It wasn't just cheating," I said. "It was deception. It was manipulation. It was disrespect." He shook his head desperately. I swear I never meant for any of this." "You already said that," I replied sharply. "But your actions say otherwise." He stood up suddenly. "Then why didn't you confront me earlier? Why wait until now?" "Because I wanted to see something," I answered. "I wanted to see if you would stop on your own. If you would choose me without being forced. If you would be honest." He froze. "And today," I said, my voice cracking, "you proved you wouldn't." He looked destroyed, but I didn't feel satisfaction. Only grief. "So what now?" he whispered. "Are you leaving me?" I closed my eyes for a long moment. When I opened them, I wasn't the same woman from this morning. I wasn't even the same woman from last week. I was someone who had been broken, stripped, rebuilt, and awakened. I don't know, I admitted. Not yet. I saw hope flicker in his eyes, fragile, desperate. But I know one thing, I added. You can't stay here. His face fell. What? You need to leave, I said firmly. Today. Right now. Ethan cannot see us fight. He cannot feel this tension. And I cannot breathe with you in this house. I can sleep on the couch. No, I said. You need to go. Get a hotel. Stay with a friend. I don't care. But you cannot stay here tonight. He stared at me like I'd stabbed him. But eventually, he nodded. Okay, he whispered. If that's what you want. I'll go. I stepped aside while he packed a small bag. The sound of zippers and drawers closing felt like echoes of our life falling apart. When he walked downstairs, his eyes were swollen, his face hollow. Ethan peeked down from the stairs. Daddy? Where are you going? Daniel's voice shook. Daddy needs to go somewhere for a little while, buddy. Why? Ethan asked innocently. I stepped in quickly. Daddy has some work to do, sweetheart. But he'll see you soon. Ethan nodded slowly, accepting the answer. Daniel stood in the doorway, staring at me. I love you, he whispered. I know that doesn't matter right now. But I do. I always did. I didn't respond. He stepped out. Closed the door. And the silence that followed wasn't painful this time. It was freeing. I exhaled slowly, the first full breath I'd taken in days. Ethan came to me and wrapped his arms around my legs. Mommy? Are you okay? I picked him up and held him close. I'm okay, baby, I whispered. And we're going to be okay. I didn't know what the future held. Not yet. But I knew this. I wasn't broken. I wasn't weak. And I wasn't alone. The truth had hurt me, deeply. But it had also set me free.